Join the team.
Hey team, it's McGuire Review, and today we have got a number of products to go through. We're going to be doing some shorts on some of these individually, and you obviously can see any of this stuff. I'm gonna do some Instagram posts of some of these maps and probably some of the new cards here. These card decks are phenomenal. But we are going to do kind of an overview video here of a number of different products just to kind of see what's come out over the course of the last couple months. And then if you want to dive deeper, obviously there will be shorts and Instagram posts as well if you want to go a little deeper on some of this stuff. But before we get into that, Bear, the sponsor. Today's video is going to be sponsored by the Gallant Goblin. Look at this cute little guy. They are going to be doing a Kickstarter for these super cute little Kobold Plushies. These are awesome, and they do come in a number of different colors as well as outfits. They do have swappable little accessories and clothing as well. On April the 12th, you'll be able to kickstart and then get your hands on one of these cute little beans. So awesome. There's going to be a number of really cool collectible pins you'll be able to unlock, as well as the Gallant Goblin official Inspiration Gold coin, which is going to be pretty cool as well. So if you are interested in these cute little plushies, you can check it out at koboldplush.com. April the 12th is that Kickstarter. You'll find the details in the description below. I love this little guy. He's going to go somewhere. And I think one of them is a druid, and I gotta have the druid, okay? I gotta have the druid. Bear, the kobold. Okay, back to the video. I love shouting out some cool stuff that friends of the channel are also doing. Okay, so let's go through what we've got here on the table. I'm going to hit the books first, and then we're going to get into some of these materials because we'll want to open those up. I'll just start here with the first book that we have, which is more of your traditional, like, larger scale style book. It's not an adventure path. It's a book to add on to your adventures for players and DMs alike. Now, this one here is Unleash the Cosmic Power. So there's a number of things you're going to find in here on the Galactic Magic book. This one's really cool. All about magic, really building out the magic in the Starfinder world. It does MSRP for $39.99. Just to know, again, all of these things you can get a little cheaper on third-party market, but MSRP is $39.99. This one gives a new precog character class. You do get a new class who can bend time to her will and outwit foes with combat predictions. This is really, really cool. This one is a really cool new class with this whole like combat predictions thing, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. Exciting ways to channel magic might with reality warping rituals and over 100 new spells. So you're going to find a ton of new magic stuff that's in here. There's going to be various different items. There's going to be all kinds of different stuff that you're going to be able to use, finding like artifacts. They're going to mix into your magic. So very, very awesome. Okay. So in the Galactic Magic book, it is much like any of the other books that they have. You are going to find a nice table of contents to kind of start off. There's going to be a nice glossary in the back. Here on the book, you're going to get an overview, the classes, gear, spells, faiths, and the magical galaxy, where it's going to give a lot of different lore about the magic within the Starfinder galaxy. Here is the precog, the brand new class to kind of start right off. It's got the key ability scores, the class skills, as well as the proficiencies. They are proficient in light armor, as well as weapon proficiency. Now, with any class, there's a number of different spells and way that you can customize these characters, but what's so special about the precog is there's a lot of different things this class will do where you can enhance yourself as well as your party's insight to what's going on in specific situations. And that's the whole like kind of forecasting time, that this class is really a master of time and magic, and they're able to forecast what might happen on the battlefield or get better insight into situations that are going on if it's more of a role play situation versus a combat situation. And that's what's the real strong point here of this new class, which, you know, it'd be interesting to see kind of how that plays out in gameplay, being able to you know, table to DM perspective, being able to have your players have sort of a one-up when you get into these combat situations, and knowing when the enemies are going to strike, or specifically how the enemies are going to strike, and then that information being given to the players, and then what are the players able and capable of doing with that. So I think it's going to add a whole new dynamic of table to DM, and what the DM might have planned, and where those combats really end up going. So this one's going to be a very interesting one to see kind of really build out. Okay, I'm not going to go through the whole book here. I really just wanted to hit that new class and go over the fact that the book does offer a number of spell additions. That's what this is really about, the magic and the spells. And then you are going to get some good lore and build out on the different faiths across Starfinder, and then a whole section on lore about the magic that is spread across the galaxy or the universe in the Starfinder IP. Okay, so that's everything you're going to find here in the new Galactic Magic. Awesome new book if you are interested in the new class, or if you want to add a bunch of things on other classes that already exist, or if you're really, really into building out that magic. This is going to be great for any of those heavy magic players. Okay, that's the new book. Now we can get into a number of these adventure paths. Now, the adventure paths are not full-scale books that add on to your world or build out your campaign or help you from maybe a player or a DM perspective. These are full-on adventures, and they're really provided in these bite-sized chunks here, or these chapters. Now, some of them only have 3 chapters. Some of them have 6, and they do differ on how far they'll take a party through an adventure. So on our Horizons of the Vast here, we've got book 5 of 6 and 4 of 6 right here for the last couple months. And we also have the rest of those books down below, but these are the ones that have come over the course of the last couple months. And this is going to be a 6-part series, but I believe this one's only going to take you through probably level 11 at most with this one, even though it's a 6-part. It is Starfinder. It's a really cool, very, very cool one if you want to check it out. The Horizons of the Vast is a pretty neat adventure path. And then we've got the Strength of Thousands. This is the last one. This is a 6-part. Now, this one was a little bit different, as this was a full-on, I would say, campaign within these 6 books of Strength of the Thousands. And this is a really, really cool one, too. If your party wants to take on a full-scale campaign, like, you're going to be playing this for a while, because this one takes you all the way through level 20 in Pathfinder. And that's a lot, okay? That's a lot. So this one is a full-on adventure, and each one of those is broke into these smaller chapters, as we've seen with these other ones. Very, very cool. I love the artwork. The artwork is so cool in this one. The concept, you're going to these adventures at this school of magic. It's, I don't want to say it dips into the Harry Potter theme, but it sort of has this Harry Potter feel, because you're at this school of magic going on these adventures and coming back to the school of magic. And this one just was a really, really good one, and I highly recommend it if you're looking for a super long, deep, all the way from 1 to level 20 run for a party. That's the one right there to go for. Another one that has recently been released is the Quest for the Frozen Flame. Now, this one now is complete. It is a 3-part series, so it has just 3 books. These feel a little stockier than some of the other ones, but really, really cool environment on this one. If you were going to go through a shorter campaign with a group, this one will take you all the way to level 10. So this one will take you all the way to level 10, 1 through 10. It's just got an awesome campaign environment. I love the artwork. I love the setting, kind of the frozen tundra type of setting. Caves, crystals, fighting beasts. Just everything about this I love. So if you want to go on a heavy adventure through the Pathfinder world that is fierce and fun with an amazing campaign setting, Quest for the Frozen Flame is where it's at if you want to go for the Primordial Flame. Okay? So check that one out. Also, highly, highly recommend that one. That, in my opinion, the Quest for the Frozen Flame is a must buy. It is a must take on, and really, it's only 3 books, whereas compared to something like this is a much longer campaign. It's got 6 books, not 3. Very awesome if this is what you're looking for. But for me, this one right here is where it's at, and it's like this is a must-buy to have in your collection just to play at some point, and take maybe even a new party from 1 to level 10, and then move on to maybe something richer and deeper that goes on through level 20. But this is where it's at. It's where it's at, okay? Okay, Bear, we're back up and running. So we did have a little bit of a snafu, and I'll explain that here in a little bit with the video. But I think where we're going to go next is we'll get into some of these maps and what a folio looks like, as well as we'll hit these tiles really quick just to give you a feel for what comes in these tiles. If you are interested in any more of these maps or folios or the tiles, we've done actually a number of videos on the channel across that line of products. So you can go and you can search for that in the Paizo. I think the playlist is the Paizo Adventure playlist, and you can find a number of different things that we've already done. But we are going to hit some of these in this video. So we'll go there next. So let's go ahead and just hit the flip tiles first, because this is really a great product as well. This is really, really good, because you may think, okay, well, why do I need to have the flip tiles? Like, why does this exist? But then you also have, like, the enormous maps, right? Why don't you just give me one big map that has everything that's on the back of this? Because if you put it all out the way it's designed, and again, these can be, well, let me save that. If you just look at what's on the back of this package here, you can say, well, why don't you just give me this, right, in a map? Here's the reason why. When you're using a map, this is good if you want your players to be able to see everything that's available. Now, as a DM, you can still kind of put pieces of paper over it if you want. And as they explore kind of that fog of war, you can kind of remove it and see where they're going. But generally, this is when you have a map, and the players, because it's fun when you have an open environment like this, and the players can be like, oh, I want to go over here. Oh, what's this over here, right? And you don't put other things on the map, or you don't have encounters until the players go there and they experience it. So that's what these broader, more open maps are good for. But let's say you did want players to explore the inside of an area, and you wanted them to go one tile at a time, or one room at a time, or show a couple rooms and then some of it's like masked off. That's where this type of product comes in being able to just lay out the tiles one at a time as you choose to do so, versus all of them then having to use paper to like cover them up. So this is a really good tool for that, because it shows, you put out a few and it shows doorways of like, oh, well, what happens when I go through that doorway? Oh, well, if you do, you see this corridor, and then you put down a few more tiles, and through the corridor you see a dining hall that has tables with hot food, and you can smell the mushroom soup with the glasses of wine, and whatever, right? The environment that you want to create. So that's where these tiles come into play. Now, there's already been 2 other sets of these that have come out. The fortress tiles. There's been sort of the outside. There's been kind of an inner court type setup, and this is more of inside, I would say, the fortress. Now, on one side of most of these, it's going to look more plain like this, where you're just going to have larger areas that you can set up on the table. Get some of these things over to the side here, on the table, and then, like this, where you can set up different. You'll see the doorways are on there where they connect, and sometimes there's walls and they don't. But let's say that, a character searches along this wall, and there's a secret door actually there that leads to this, room with this bright red carpet that you see. So there's so many things that you can do. Now they are designed, they have little numbers in the corner of them where they are designed if you want it to look like the picture that's on the back. So they do lay out in a way where they'll all fit together a specific way. But you don't have to do that. You can. That's what's the beauty again of this product. It gives you the option of mixing and matching and creating whatever you want. So when you take them out of the pack, the side that you're generally going to see is the sides that kind of have more of the plain side. But then the other side of all those tiles are more, I would consider a little bit of a richer take on the different rooms. So here's one with a number of beds and chests and whatnot. Here's one with a kind of a water fountain type area. Here's one that's got sort of a crossway of different ordinate rugs with a couple big statues. There's one in here that's got, here's like a kitchen. There's a throne room. I mean, there's just a number of different things on these that you can kind of create that inner fortress look. Okay, so that's the table tiles that we've got here from Paizo. And again, the reason why there's two different types of products and how you can use these products together. I think this is actually a really good product, really innovative way of allowing a GM to be able to set up an environment for their players that is kind of explored as they go along. So I really like these tiles, and they are made to draw on as well. So I'll call that out. You can do wet, dry, or permanent marker on these tiles, which is also really nice. Okay, I'm not going to open the Starfinder one. Essentially, the Starfinder one is going to be the same thing. Although, if you have seen the other videos, the first set was more of kind of an open ground sort of move wherever you want. This is more of kind of a confined area if you wanted to go through like setup corridors, much like a Space Hawk or anything like that, right? If you wanted to go through and kind of confine where the players were going, this is a good set to pick up for that, like on a spaceship or whatnot. So that's what you're going to find here with the flip tiles. Awesome product. And then what we'll do is we'll go into our maps. Now, this one here is different than what the rest of these are. This one here is called a map folio. It's actually a poster map folio, and we'll hit that first. Let's just go ahead and hit that one first, and then we'll get into some of these other ones. I already have a couple opened because I've already done this video once. That was fun. For the comment on the snafu, so let me set these up front, and I'll get into the map folio. So map folio is going to be different. It is going to have kind of this folio sleeve, much like these do as well. But these, it's blank inside. You're generally going to get some information in the side, inside of these. This one's very informational because it has all of the numbers as well as what each one of those numbered locations are. You'll be able to look up every single one of those locations if you have the Absalon book. So in getting in what you're going to find generally in these map folios, I love this product. And you'll see why very quickly. So you're generally going to get at least one piece that is like a poster. Sometimes it's artwork. Sometimes it's an overview of an area of the land. You can see here, this is the piece that I would consider kind of the poster or the artwork within this one. It's got the awesome sort of shipyard down here, your Pathfinder Absalon logo, nice open sea with a couple islands, and it even has some of the locations. You'll see these little numbers here. Some of the locations that you'll see how this one was put together. I don't know that I've seen one like this before, how they put it together. So this looks really cool. And this one to me is more like, I mean, outside of the couple areas you've got there, this one to me is maybe put it in a low-cost poster frame, put it up on the wall near your gaming table while you're running this particular campaign or something that you're using Absalon for, and it just kind of adds to the look and feel and the atmosphere as your players are going through. So you're going to get that generally in here. Usually one or two of those types of things. Then you're going to get larger overviewed maps of areas and cities that you would use to put out in your players, that your players could actually use for exploration. Okay? So The way they went on this one was, you'll notice how, if I can get this open, you'll notice how this kind of cuts off. Like, you can see the border, like, oh, that's the outside, and then all of a sudden, it just cuts off. Like, why isn't it continued to be bordered all the way around? Well, the reason is because you're going to unfold a number of these, and you're going to be able to lay them side by side to make one giant map of the whole entire city at the center of the world. Okay? And you're going to have all of your numbers in here that are marked, and then those correspond to the numbers that we saw here in the map folio. So if you are planning on running the Absalom campaign, or getting the book Absalom City of the Lost Omens, getting this map portfolio, I think, is kind of a must to do. And it's $24.99 MSRP, but again, you get all of these maps and all this stuff that you're able to use directly for that campaign and that lore. Okay, so you see this one here, and then this one, I believe it's this one. We'll get them all open, but this is the one that will go side by side to then make, see. So then it would go, it kind of go like that, and then you would have the whole entire thing all the way across. And you'll see that the bottom is opened up as well. Well, that's where these other two really come into play. You can open this up, and now you've got kind of the bottom piece of that. And this one has a little bit of artwork as well, okay, that you can see. And then that one will kind of build out off of the bottom, and so will the other one that we saw. So you really could put all four of these together, and they'll make this giant map of the whole entire area. And it's just awesome when it's all together like that. You're not always going to find that approach in all of these. That's just how they did this particular one. You usually will find 3 to 4 individual sized poster maps that are different things. This is the first time I've seen them sort of use all 4 pieces in conjunction together to make one giant map. But, it makes sense that they would do that for something like this. Okay, so that's the map folio. I wanted to spend a little time there because it is very different than what you find in these other map offerings. And there's just a lot of people that don't understand what these map folios are. And they think they're just standard maps like you get here, but maps that you can't write on. Like you can write on these with wet, dry, and permanent eraser. These are paper. You don't do that with these. They're not made to write on and erase. Something completely different as far as a product's concerned. Now, we're through that. These, my friends, are the awesome wet, dry, and permanent marker mats, and I have a number of them here. Here is one for Starfinder. This is for the casino. So if you want a casino environment in Starfinder, you've got you've got a map in here. It's double-sided. On one side, you got a part of a casino, and on the other side, you got a part of a casino. So if you want to build out sort of a casino on one of the spaceships, and you got to go in and do some gambling and do some talking or do some negotiations, whatever it is, this is a great map, and it's kind of a unique sort of scene that you can set up as well. They are 24 by 30 in size, and it folds to an 8 by 10, 1-inch squares, obviously standard on each side. It's all kind of broke up into the squares so you can do all of your distancing, right? This one here is from Pathfinder. It is a dungeon environment, so it's you got a dungeon here, and then on the other side you got a dungeon that sort of has some lava that's coming up through it. All right. Now, some of these are very specific, like, hey, I need a dungeons environment. Okay, well, you can pick up this, or I need the casino environment. You can pick up this. These do MSRP for $14.99, which I think is, again, that's MSRP, so you're going to get a lot of value out of those. Ones like this, for me, are must-buys. These go for $14.99. This one's a little bit more expensive at $24.99, and you'll see why here in a second. This is one of their enormous series. So these are nice. because they are highly reusable. Again, they have very specific environments, and then they have just like Waterworld, right? Well, there's a lot you can do with this. In any RPG that you want your players or your party to go underwater, you got a really cool underwater scene that's set up. On this side, it's more of kind of at the top of that water. So if you have a boat that your party is on in a ship and they're going along and they're moving along a sea, you can use this for anything. I know it's Starfinder, but it doesn't have to be. And then, oh, they have to dive in the water. Boom, here you go. Look how awesome that looks, and fight whatever. So that's what makes, I think, these particular maps, where they're more general, they can be reused for anything. And I love the world. I love the movie Waterworld. Okay, so this one, it's a must-buy. All right, this one here is for Pathfinder. This is the Enormous Forest. Now, it is a single map as well, but it is significantly larger, as you can see here. And the size on this one is 30 by 46. So this is a much larger map. We'll get it open here. As you can see, it is significantly bigger. And again, another must-buy, because you can put this out for your players and go on a massive adventure across the countryside from, you know, city to city or camp to camp or whatever you're doing. There's also little areas that are defined on the map where it's like, oh, here we got Stonehenge, right? What's back behind Stonehenge? Nobody knows. There's a little pop of blue here on this flower. There's no other color other than greens and browns anywhere on this. It's the only spot on this map where there's this tiny little piece. So that could be something that maybe your players is looking for. And you don't even mention it. It's just, hey, do your players actually see it as they're going through that area? On the other side, again, completely different, right? You've got a nice bridge set up. You've got a little encampment down here. You've got what looks like they're little cages that have people in them along this road. So these could be NPCs maybe the party interacts with and gains information. Maybe even goes back and rescues. Who knows, right? So that's why I love these bigger, I'll just say more generic. I hate to call this generic because it's not, but it's a more general offering for your party to be able to go through, and for you as a GM to be able to reuse over and over and over again. Because again, you can write on them, you can create other things, you can wipe it right off and start over. So I absolutely love these. Waterworld's a must-buy. Enormous Forest is a must-buy. Get the map folio. It's a must-buy if you're going to do Absalon. Okay, totally. If you're not going to do Absalon, probably not a must-buy unless you just want to put this whole thing together and put it in a giant frame on your wall, which, mind you, would look really cool for $24.99 MSRP. Probably, you know, knock off a few bucks there, getting it third-party market. Would look very, very cool, but I wouldn't say this is a must-buy unless you need it for Absalon. Okay? That's where we're going to pause for the video today. I'm going to do another follow-up video that are going to be on these. So after this video comes out, probably a couple days later, we'll release a video on the cards here. I feel like the cards really need a video, standalone video of their own, and the reason is because we've covered many books in the past, we've covered this in the past, we've covered these things in the past. We've never covered a product like this. This is the first time I've gotten sort of these battle card type things, I believe. So I want to do a video on its own for this product. So hopefully you enjoyed everything that we've got here. Paizo is releasing a ton of stuff every single month. You can sign up for their subscription service. Go to the website, and these things can be delivered right to your house, no problem. All right? So hit that like, click the subscribe below to join the team. Keep rolling them crits. This has been the McGuire Review, and we'll see you next time.